We're going to be talking today about building a nutrient-dense pantry. Not only does that help your health, it also means that you can get meals on the table a whole lot easier and on a budget. It's been about 16 years ago that we completely revamped our entire pantry, food storage, and cooking. Mainly because I was having major health implications, and you can watch the video where I talk about that more in depth, but I had my upper stomach and esophagus biopsied for cancer. Thankfully, it came back benign. However, I had a lot of erosion, ulcers, and I had cellular change, which is kind of that precursor stage to developing pre-cancerous. So thankfully, we made a huge amount of changes. Some of them took us a lot longer than others, but we now have a reliable system. That means we've got nutrient-dense food in our pantry, can make our meals from scratch, and most of the time not feeling overwhelmed as we're doing that. So one of the basic things, and if you've ever been on any type of diet before, you know this, and that is do not bring the things into your home that you don't want to eat. Just don't give yourself the temptation. Don't have them. Well, the same is really true in building a nutrient-dense pantry. Now, a lot of times I've heard the argument where people will say, well, yeah, but buying whole foods or buying fresh foods and those types of things, what we would really consider nutrient-dense. So the least amount of processing as possible is what I will say nutrient-dense food is. Lots of people have their different definitions, but we're looking at things in close to their whole food form. If they've been processed, that processing is minimally done, and that the processing that's done to them is not using harsh chemicals or different things like that would really damage the nutrients in the food, and that they're naturally packed with nutrients, not having to add back in synthetic vitamins or a bunch of synthetic minerals, etc., in order to actually have nutrition in their items. So for our pantry here, you can see there is a lot of fruits and vegetables in this spot. So we've got, of course, onions, and I've got my braids of garlic here, which are really a staple in almost every dish, except, of course, something that would be sweet. And then we have got a ton of different vegetables. So right now, we just brought in the fall harvest. So I've got a lot of winter squash to go through. This is delicata. And then we've got, whoops, don't come out yet. We've got all of our different home canned or different preserved foods. Most of this is canned. Here I do have, this was the last of our autumn raspberries that we freeze dried. So this is actually freeze dried. And then a lot of the stuff here that you do see is either freeze-dried or canned. So I've got some freeze-dried corn here. And then, of course, tons of our vegetables. Some of it is pressure canned, like our green beans. Others is pickles. So I've got dilly beans here, a bunch of cucumbers, bread and butter. We've got some different vegetable soups, all from the garden, tomato sauce. And then I do have some more freeze-dried, and then this is just regular dehydrated. So these were grapes from our arbor and made into our raisins. So you can see, though, all of these are, as I said, minimally processed. This was just in a dehydrator, or canned for lots of different fruits and vegetables. Now, I also have, as well as some of our condiments, but I do also have here shelf stable with a pressure canner fish. So this is lightly smoked and then canned salmon. And so we've got some of our shelf stable, but of course this has got a lot of omega-3s in it, wild caught salmon, a lot of really, really good things, healthy fats for the body. And this is something that can easily be eaten just straight from the can. So a lot of times when we think of convenience foods, the point of those is when we might not have time to cook, or if you're not working at home and you have a day job, you don't have your pantry, you might not have a way to necessarily cook your meals. And so we love having these jars. Like my husband will take just a jar of the salmon and he'll take that, and that'll be one of the main parts of his lunch, but he can just eat that as is. He doesn't even have to have a kitchen in order to have his lunch. And he just open it, eat it, and then if he's got any left over, he'll put it in the cooler and bring it home. One of the other items in Nutrient Dense Pantry is going to be broth. You can do so much with bone broth. It is the staple of all of our sauces and our gravies and our soups. So you will notice one thing that you don't see in my pantry is cans of condensed any type of soup. And that's because, or gravy mixes, that's because our bone broth makes all of those things really easily and adds a ton of nutrition. So with our bone broth, you're getting collagen, you're getting gelatin, you're getting protein, amino acids, like all of those types of things that are really good for the body, and they taste good. And you can make your own homemade cream of anything replacement soup with some broth and just a little bit of flour or cornstarch, depending on what your thickener you want to use, in like 4 minutes flat. So it's actually faster than going to the store. So a lot of where we come into our budget categories is buying your whole grains and your dry goods in bulk. So this video is sponsored by Azure Standard. For the things we're not growing and preserving ourselves, I get from Azure Standard. They have an incredible array. You can get them in smaller and much bigger. So I do like to get some of their organic small elbow macaroni pasta. And this I just buy in the 5 pound. You can get it much, much bigger. I don't get as large, and this is because when the eggs are on with the chickens and the ducks, we do make a lot of our own homemade pasta making egg noodles. But I like to have some of this in stock, but anytime you can buy things in bulk, you're going to pay less per pound. And that can be an easy way as each time you place an order or go shopping. If you've not ordered from Azure Standard, I highly recommend checking them out. They have great prices, and I can find a lot of things through them that I just can't find at the store in organic and in the bulk amounts. And you can use code Melissa15 and get 15% off your first order or more of $100. So I like to stock up on my pasta, and then I get my wheat berries from them. I do get flour, sugar, a lot of those staples. You can even get raw honey from them. So if you don't have hives or a local honey source, one of my really dear friends has a ton of hives, and so I purchased my raw honey from him. We don't have beehives yet, but not everybody has that option. And so you can get maple syrup, a lot of those things that are sweeteners, but they have health properties to them. Raw honey is fabulous for its health properties, as well as even using it medicinal. I'm just getting over a cold. I don't know if you can hear that. And raw honey has been one of my go-tos for helping with the cough and soothing the throat, and then all of just the wonderful health properties it has. So by stocking a lot of these things, especially in getting them in larger quantity, is a great way to build up that nutrient dense pantry and just have these items on hand, because when you have them on hand, we grow a lot of our own dried beans, but Azure Standards has a great where you can get dried beans from them in bulk too. We get our rice from them. And so when you have those types of items, it's really easy to pair them with the things that you do have on hand. Like, for example, our winter squash here. You know, I can easily do a pasta dish with those, or I could add the winter squash and I can make up some type of a soup or a stew with the broth, add some of the rice to that or some of the beans to that, maybe throw in some lentils, and create a delicious nutrient dense meal for very little cost in comparison to buying that if you were to buy like a can of soup that doesn't have a lot of nutrition in it. And when you are to actually price that out per weight, it is much more economical to buy these things in bulk and then prepare them. So one of the things is we want to make sure we're actually using our food storage and our pantries. A lot of times people will stock it with things and then they fall out of the habit, or they're not really sure how to use it. Because we like to have an amount of food on hand. I always feel having a well-stocked pantry is insurance. Like no matter what were to happen, if we've got all of this food on hand, if we have unexpected bills that come up or work hours are cut or whatever, I know that we are going to be fed and fed well for a decent amount of time. And so that just gives a lot of reassurance and flexibility in our budget, so we can budget for other things outside of food if need be. But one of the things is we really want to make sure when we're looking at our food storage is we don't want to let any of that food go to waste. And so one is pulling things as you buy new. or as you go to replace it, making sure that you're pulling some of those items out to the front and you're always restocking with the new items in the back. That's just a really easy way to make sure that you're pulling from the front. That's going to be the oldest, newest goes in the back. And so even with my canned goods here, I've got, this is last year's green beans, and then I made sure that this year's green beans that we did went right behind those instead. So those are always at the back. One of the things that you can do, especially with, like, this is a larger bag when it's sitting on the shelf, so it's going to be a little bit harder. You'd have to go to the back of here for the best by date. Best by dates, use your best judgment. Really, best by dates don't mean all of a sudden that food is expired and it's bad and to throw it out, for the love. It simply means that it's in its best nutrition, like all of the things is that best by date. So just use it as a guideline. Please don't think that if you've went through whatever the best by date is, that food is no longer good. So one of the things that I like to do, and ideally this is something that you would be doing seasonally, so think about, each season, is coming into your pantry and doing a quick perusal of anything that you might be low of, and also with those best by dates. So an easy thing to do with best by dates is when you are stocking your items back on the shelf, which I did here with our home canned goods, is I just simply write the year on it with Sharpie. So 2025 is when these were canned. And then that's really easy look at a glance to know what year that was from. And you can do the same thing with your larger bulk items here, is I could just grab my Sharpie and put, what is this one? 1/28 on it. This best by date is January of 2028. So it's got quite a while. But that way, as you're looking through, anything that's best by date is coming up, you know that you want to pull those items out, and that's what you're going to be creating your meals from and incorporating that within the next month or so. It also is great if you do it quarterly, so it doesn't feel overwhelming, to know exactly what you've got on hand. And for those seasonal items, that's when it's time to restock, because when food is in season, it's usually much cheaper for you to purchase and be able to restock. Even with non-perishable items, we think a lot of seasonal buying, of course, when it comes to fruits and vegetables, which makes a lot of sense. However, things like chocolate chips, for example, you'll find around certain holidays that a lot of stores will put them on a really good discount. They'll do their loss leaders. So they'll put something on sale for a super, super low, cheap price in order to get you in the store. Like, they actually will price them sometimes where they lose money, which is why it's called a loss leader. But they know if they get you in the doors and you're not a smart, conscientious shopper, that you will buy other items that will then make up for what they've lost by offering it at such a low price. So I will always keep an eye out, usually around Thanksgiving, sometimes Christmas. You'll find a lot of the baked stuff. So sometimes it'll be spices, it might be chocolate chips. It could be things like butter that people would use in baking. I like to have ghee on hand. This one is shelf stable, and ghee is one of those other very nutrient dense foods that's really important for us to have. So I will even look at that, especially as we come into the holidays, and be like, okay, where am I at with some of these things, and are they going to come on a really good sale? And then I can restock seasonally. Oftentimes you'll find, like around, think of the major holidays where cooking is a really big incorporated part of that. A lot of times you can find at stores those really awesome, amazing deals, and then you can stock up enough, depending on what it is, if it's going to be shelf stable for the entire year, or at least for the next quarter, if not 6 months, ideally, when it's a really good deal. So the great thing is when you've got a pantry stocked with nutrient-dense food, even if you forget to pull the meat out, if it's frozen, you're going to be able to create meals for your family, especially dinner, without a lot of upfront planning or even prep time. So here we have got chicken breasts frozen, which, even if you didn't remember to pull these bad boys out and thaw them, you can cook frozen meat in an Instapot and have it done fully and still be nice and tender and moist. And depending on how big of the cut of meat it is, in like 25 to 35 minutes, which is pretty darn fast. So to make this really easy and fast, we are going to cook our chicken breast in the Instapot, unless you were smart and started it in the slow cooker earlier in the day. And then I've got some home canned salsa here. So we're gonna do that. That'll add some vegetable and some easy flavoring. And we'll do shredded chicken with some salsa. And then for something really easy, we're gonna do, you could add black beans, you could add pinto beans, you could add any type of beans. And these are our Cherokee black beans that we grew and dried. However, I do usually wait until we hit fall and winter, and then I'll take quite a few of our dried beans, and I do like to can them up just so for those nights when I might not have thought to soak ahead my beans or cook them, that I've got jars of cooked beans ready to go. And then cooking, here I've got rice, and so this rice cooks up in about 18 minutes on the stovetop. It's pretty fast. You could also do something like quinoa, and then we'll just make bowls. So if we've happen to have any avocado or sour cream or cheese or anything like that, we can put that on top. But even if we don't, this is gonna be a delicious, really nutrient-dense meal that comes together really quickly. So you can see if you've got these items on hand, it really can be simple to pull together meals. But if not, then that 6 o'clock dinner feeling comes and you're like, oh no, and that's when we fall into the trap of pulling out frozen things that aren't as healthy and nutritious as just plain frozen chicken, but it's those frozen pizzas that probably don't have the so good ingredients, or the temptation to go out to eat or to get takeout, etc. really comes into play. But to make life even easier is if you have home canned chicken on the shelf, then you can make dinner a lot faster. And so obviously I've got some canning to do that my future self will definitely thank me, as well as yours. And so if you want to learn how to can chicken, it's super easy, then you can go and check out this video.